Good morning, viewers of the RC Universe. Welcome to RC Heli Check UK for another episode on the channel. The weather is starting to pick up. Not. There's a bit of a breeze, but the temperatures are starting to go up. It's currently around about 18 degrees at the moment. Anyway, enough of that. Today, we are going to be looking at an AS-350 scale helicopter, which is in a bit of a sorry state. It was the way that I purchased it, and I thought it'd be a good project on the channel. And we are also looking at a 500 Trex Pro, which has got a flybar fitted to it, and I'm looking to convert the helicopter to basically flybarless. So I'm going to be removing the head, and I'm going to be replacing the head with a 4-blade. All those purists out there saying, yes, I know AS-350s have a 3-bladed rotor head, but I haven't got a 3-bladed rotor head, so I thought I'd stick a 4-blade on for now until I can find a 3-bladed rotor head. Either way, we're going to be looking at the conversion and seeing how this model comes out, going from a flybarred helicopter to a flybarless. So without further ado, guys, let's crack on. Okay guys, here we go. We have got one Trex 500 Pro with a flybar, and it is a torque drive, which makes it a lot easier to fit into the fuselage. And we're going to be taking all this off, replacing it with the 4-blade head, like I said, and then we are going to be fitting it into this fuselage. Now this fuselage I got second hand, and it needs a fair bit of work doing to it, and this will be part of the video. As you can see, these are broken on the back. They've got epoxy glue all over them, and it's a bit of a mess. And for some reason, we've got a huge fiberglass patch underneath the bottom of there, which needs tidying up and looking at as well. So all that kind of stuff will be looked at. The inside isn't too bad. There is a bit of wear and tear from it being quite an oldish model. We've got some LED lights, which I should probably take out, to be honest with you, because I don't think they're going to work, and I don't really want them in there, so they'll be coming out. But yeah, it's just going to be tidy it up. We are going to put it in a new colour scheme. I have now got a 3D printer, and I have got some scale parts that I will be printing off for this, and I'm going to put it into the California Highway Patrol Police helicopter markings. So it's going to be a nice white blue with a gold band down it at some point. I've got a new exhaust that I'm going to be 3D printing instead of just this round crappy looking tube. So hopefully, all in all, when it's finished, it's going to look to be quite nice. But first things first, we need to get all the old electrics out of here, the old gyro, the old servos, because they're not servos rated to a flybarless system. They're alternating servos. Get the ESC out, get the flybar head off, get the main gear drive out and whatnot, get that all clean, take the motor out because I want to try and replace it with this motor here, which is more powerful, and just generally rebuild the helicopter. And hopefully, it's a little bit windy, but hopefully we'll be able to get the mechanic set up and ready to fly. So let's go time-lapse mode and start stripping. Right guys, I've had a look at the motor mount that I've got here, and it's exactly the same as that one that is in here. So I can leave this motor mount onto this, but I just want to show you the pinion that we've got here. Again, it's the same one as we got on this motor, but look at this. I don't know if you can see this or not. Let's hold that still. Can you see that? Can you hear that? See how much movement there is. These gears are literally just touching the teeth on this pinion here. So either this is slid back or it was never meshed properly like it should have been in the first place. But that is close to failure. That is really close to failure. So I'm glad in a way that I never actually flew this helicopter, because I don't think it had lasted very long if I did. So anyway, yeah, let's get the motor out. I'm going to take this gear out and give it all a good clean as well, because it's filthy. And then we'll start looking at putting all the new gear back in and getting it back into Flybarless systems. So yeah, just thought I'd show you that, guys. When you do mesh motors to your main gear, it should hardly move. It's sort of like they call it cigarette paper's width of play in between the gears, but I mean, there is so much there, it is unbelievable. Never mind. Anyway, let's change it all over. Oh, there's the original motor that was in this. This is basically a Hobby King clone of the Trex 500 Pro. And I know that because it says it on the rotor head. It doesn't say that it's a clone, but on the rotor head, if you look, you can just see there HK 500, and same on there, HK 500. So it is basically a clone of the Trex 500 Pro. But anyway, that's the original motor that we use now, because obviously this is not a flybarless helicopter. It's still a brushless motor, but it was the Turnigy Typhoon 500 motor that they had fitted into this. I don't know whether it was specifically designed for the Trex 500 as is here, but we are going to go with the Line Dominator BL 520MX motor, which is 1600 kV, and you can see the difference already. I mean, in size, the actual length of the motor, the can length is the same, but the diameter is significantly different. So the motor mounts are exactly the same, the pinions are exactly the same, so it should be just a straight swap. So yeah, I'm going to take this all apart and give all this a clean, because it is filthy, and I don't want it looking like this when it goes into the helicopter. And then once we've done that, we'll start assembling it all and putting the more upgraded gear into the model. So let's carry on. Well, I've got the old one of these out, guys, and you can see it is in a hell of a state. That is a mess. And the one by bearing's still okay, but I've got a new one, a better one here that I'm going to fit in. I'm going to take all this off, and then I'm going to replace it with this one, but I'm going to give these two gears, well, I'm doing away with that one completely, and I'm using that instead. So I'm going to take this out of here, then give this a good clean before I put it back in. So I'll go and get that sorted now. There you go, guys. Old crap, new hotness. It's not as brilliant as it was, but it's better than what it was. Still a bit of cack on that side, but I can live with that. So let's start reassembling it all back together. What I've done, guys, I don't know if you can see, that was the original shaft that came out, and I've got a proper aligned shaft which does away with this collet here. You've got like a ridge with a spacer, ring spacer that goes in between, and it provides a much more smoother run as well. So I've replaced the shaft with a brand new one. Again, it is a 500 Pro, but it'll still work. Like I say, it eliminates that completely. So that is one thing you can change. The shaft on the Hobby King version is exactly the same as the T-Rex one. It just does away with this collet. Okay, so I've had to swap the motor mounts out, not because they're different, because they're different. The only thing is, these bolts that go into the motor mount, they don't go all the way through, so they stop kind of there. So I've just swapped them out, still exactly the same, it's just the distance that the threads go in is a lot longer on this one than what it is on there. This saves me farting around trying to find more screws. They're both exactly the same. So, but I've took the bottom of the skids off, as you can see in the frame, because it's too wide. So I'm going up through the bottom, then I'll fit the skids and everything back on once I've cleaned them, because they're a mess. So. Right, any of you that go in, oh, you've not thread locked yet? No, I haven't, not yet, because I haven't set this up, but I'm going to show you what I meant before. I don't know if you can remember seeing how much movement there was in the actual head itself before, in the pinion before, but if I pull that away, that's how much there was before. Now, if I move the motor forward slightly, can you see that? There is hardly anything there at all. That is where it needs to be, basically. So what I'm going to do now is tighten up one of the nuts, bolts, like with the right screwdriver. Where is it? There it is. Tighten up just one of the bolts, like so. Check the lash, make sure it's still the same. It is slightly more than what it should be. Just pull the motor away slightly. Too much. What I do is put the bolt in the head of the screw and then push on the screw until it's right. A little bit more. Perfect. Now if I tighten that down, there's my lash. That's my lash set. Now you're all going to say, well, yeah, I know. So what I'm going to do now, leave one bolt locked up, undo the other bolt, thread lock it, put it back in, and do the same on the other side. And once that's done, I can then thread lock the side bolts that hold the actual motor mounting, and that's how you lash your motor. do a quick comparison, guys, between one and t'other. That's the old rotor head, that's old school with a flybar, and that has been replaced with this. This is a DFC flybarless rotor head, and it is a 4-blade. The difference is it's got 4 blades, and it's a direct control system on the actual helicopter. So the servos push this wash plate up and down, and they directly move the control arms on the actual rotor head itself. So that's the difference between that and that. Now we've got this is the original electronic speed controller, and that one is a Turnigy Trust 70 amp built-in S-Spec ESC, ultra reliable. Yeah, back in the day, maybe, on a XT60, and that has got basically the lead which goes to your receiver in this case, and then we have its replacement, which is an Align electronic speed controller. This is a 100 amp AS speed controller, and I've got an an EC5 connected on that one, and we have 4mm bullet connectors, whereas the other one only had 3mm. So it's a far more superior ESC. It is designed for helicopters. It has got programming facilities, which is what this one is here. You've got your basic helicopter settings, your gyro, come on Rob, think of it, your governor, active freewheel, all that kind of thing, which you can program onto it. This has already been programmed, so I know I don't have to do that. So that's the difference between the two ESCs. And then we've got the tail rotor gyro, which is an Align gyro, which back in its day was good, you know, keeps the tail stable. And we've got the more up-to-date Micro Beast Plus Flybarless system, which controls everything basically, and a satellite on the end of it, which is what we get our signal from. So the difference in them is phenomenal basically. And then lastly we have the difference in servos. That is a cheap Turnigy servo, and that is a more expensive, more powered, high torque Align servo. So the difference in price is staggering as well, but these are a lot better. Okay guys, this 4-blade rotor head, I'm just going to show you how to phase the rotor head. In fact, it's not really that difficult with these Align ones, because the mixer arms are set in such a position that you can't go wrong with it, to be fair. But you've got to imagine that you're looking at it from the tail, so that this blade here is on the right hand side if you're looking at it from the tail, and then this arm here that you can see coming off the blade at 90 degrees to the tail, this arm's got to be in line with this anti-rotation pin down here. I know the anti-rotation bracket's not on at the moment, but it will be in a bit. So yeah, to get the phasing right, this arm here at 90 degrees, but this 90 degree blade, this arm here, the link has got to be 90 degrees to that ball link, so it is in line with this anti-rotation pin, and that's it basically. That's your phasing done on a 4-blade head. It's so much easier than a 5-blade. Okay guys, I've just had a little bit of a dilemma. The pinion that was originally on here, the nice bright shiny brass one, i.e. that one, was too low down, and even though the auto rotation bracket was working, the anti-rotation bearing, auto rotation bearing, I'll get it right in a minute, was working. When I rotated that way, it was stiff, and I mean really stiff. Anyway, I thought I'd got wires or something tangled up in this. Turns out that this pinion here was right down on the motor mount, and it was embedding itself in between here, and it was stopping the motor from going round. So I thought, right, I'll undo the pinion's grub screw and lift it up a little bit and re-thread lock it and tighten it back down. No, I don't know if you can see that inside there. That is the reminiscence of the grub screw. It wouldn't come out. It is that cheap, I'm not say what country, metal, and it rounded off on me. Some say I should have got some heat into it, but I only blue thread locked it, so I should have been able to have got it undone. It should have cracked and done. But it would not budge, and it rounded off the grub screw, so I've had to drill it out and I've had to get it off that way. Fortunately, the pinion that was on the cheap nasty Turnigy motor is the same amount of teeth and exactly the same pinion. So I've just basically took the pinion off that one and stuck it on here and thread locked it. So we're back to as it should be, and we can now move properly. But the pinion has not died. I can drill it and tap it and whatnot, and I'll be able to use it again. But for now, it's kind of redundant. So hey ho, shit happens. Okay, the time is getting on. It is, what time is it? It is 7:10 in the evening. We are the only country in the world, I think, that puts their clocks forward and backwards for British summertime and all that kind of poop. But our clocks went forward last weekend or the weekend before, I can't remember now. So we get an extra hour of light. So the nights are starting to turn up, and it's been windy all day, and now it's too dark to fly. It's calmed down typically. So, but yeah, I'm gonna knock it on the head for today and get it all tidied up in here, and then we'll come back to it tomorrow. I love that helicopter. That's my 550X, Trex 550X. Good morning gang, it is the next day. I have been busy off camera fitting the electronic speed controller, which was a right pain in the arse. So I'm just fitting the Flybarless system in, wiring all that up and whatnot. Then I'll program it all off camera, and we can start getting this set up and hopefully test flying. It's not that bad out there today. There's a bit of wind, but not that bad. So let's carry on and see how we get on with it. Right guys, I don't know if you can see this. This is reminiscence of old tape that was on these blades that I took off, because when I balance my blades I make sure that all the tape was removed, but it's left like the glue residue you can see there, like on both sides. And a good tip to get rid of that is to use, bear with me a second, not necessarily this one, but this is penetrating oil, exactly the same as WD-40. So if you've not got anything like this, use WD-40. Spray it onto the actual sticky bit, leave it for about 10 minutes and it just wipes straight off. One thing I had issues with was like old tape being left behind, and somebody gave me this tip of using penetrating oil. I laughed at it, but it actually works. So you just soak it in penetrating oil, leave it for about 10 minutes and it just wipes straight clean off. Then go over it with an alcohol wipe, because if you're going to paint the blades it won't stick. Common sense really. But I'm going to go and clean these blades up, and then I'll start balancing them and pairing them up hopefully. Okay, go. We've got everything all set up, all the servos are all installed, the Flybarless system is all fitted and all been programmed in, blades have all been tracked, blades have been weighed. I've got the shitty old blades on at the moment because the other blades will just weigh out. So I'm going to basically test fly it with these, make sure that everything's okay, then I'll take the blades off, clean them, paint them, rebalance them and put them back on. But right, phasing, let me just show you. You know, if you've got your phasing correct, and then if you can see the transmitter, I'll try and keep the transmitter on my mode 1, remember, elevator, aileron. So if you've got your phasing right, that rod there should be there against that. So if I push elevator on now, this blade here and that one should stay still. These two here should move backwards and forwards, okay? See, and then opposite for rudder, move aileron left and right. These ones will move, but that one will stay still. And that's your phasing, basically. So as long as your helicopter's doing that, you got your phasing sorted. Right, we're ready to go, but it's windy, so I'm gonna have to think now whether or not I'm gonna fly it. We'll wait for this wind to die down a bit. Hopefully as the evening progresses it will get slower. So let's just have a quick look at this. Now we have a broken tailplane that can be easily repaired. I'll probably cut those wires because the LEDs are shit. To be fair, I'm going to rip all the LEDs out of it. There's a few little scrapes and dinks that need to be looked at. That's a bit of epoxy on there. That's coming off because I've got a more scale one going on. Again, nav light's coming off. Bit of a dink there that needs to be looked at. And we've got some reinforcing that needs to be done there because that's cracked. I'm going to take these top windows out, which should be glued in quite nice and gentle. To be fair, they, it shouldn't be too hard to get out without damaging it. Cut that grill out, put a proper one in, and then on to the side, what we got, again, just a few little nicks and dinks, but it's going to be painted anyway, so it doesn't really matter about that. But the biggest problem is that on the bottom there. Lord only knows why that's there, but it's been fiberglassed and it's gone over the undercarriage as well, and I need to get that off. So hopefully I can take it off without damaging the skids. But these holes are going to be blocked in as well. Get rid of those, and then on the inside, if I can get it off, that's not too heli artist. Never heard of them. Who's ever heard of heli artist? Let me know if you've ever heard of them, because I ain't. but inside it's a bit of a shambles. Lots of fiberglass been squirted in there, unnecessary, but to be honest with you, it won't hurt because I'm going to clean it all out, and then basically it'll be painted. I'm going to paint it all inside black. But yeah, don't know what that's for, don't know why that's in there, no idea. They can come out because I've got some plastic mounts which will be better, so I'll get rid of all them there. Looks like the rear mount's completely missing. There's no mount there at all. Don't know how it was mounted, unless it was mounted using the undercarriage, but I highly doubt it. So yeah, fair bit of, quite reeks, fair bit of work needs to be done in here. Oh, hello, spare. But get all this shit out, get all the lights out, and then give it a clean because it's covered in dust, and as you know I don't like dust. Get all that out and start work on the fuselage and get it all sanded and look nice. And it's got rubber, what's that there, look? Silicon. That's pointless, that don't do nothing. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Right, it's cosmetic done on fuselage. These bolts were epoxied in, and I need to get the skids off because this horrendous piece of fiberglass here was put on in such a way that they've actually fiberglassed over the skids as well, and I need to get the skids off to be able to rub down the fuselage. So I've had to cut the bolts off because they were epoxied over, and I've had to cut grooves in the screws to get her flatted in to hopefully get them undone, because of Phillips it was just tearing the screws apart. I may even have to cut these off and just take the undercarriage off that way, and then use some pliers to get the screws out and then put new holes in. They're going to be remounted either way, so but yeah, so I'll get that done and I'll come back to you when it's finito. Right guys, it's a little bit breezy but not as bad as it was yesterday. It's early in the morning, if you call, like 9:15 early. But the wind is due to get up a little bit more later on, so I thought I'd quickly come out and test this while it's quite low, test the mechanics and see what it's like. Right, head seems to be, those blades look crap on it, but I will do them back up again, as you know. So right, I got 25% on the rates on the Expo on aileron and elevator, 30% on rudder, and we got 65% head speed on normal, 75 idle up 1, 85 and idle up 2. That's 0 degrees of pitch, contact. Right, let's see what it does. Oh, tail shaking. Okay. Yeah, got a bit of a tail wag there, look. Oh, that's gone. The head speed. Don't start watering, don't start watering. So the higher head speed seems to have stopped the tail wagging a little bit. Oh man, I can't see shit. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Bloody eyes are streaming, aren't they? Right. I bet you can hear that. I've even put the filter on the camera, but I bet you can still hear the wind blowing through it. I hope you can see the helicopter as well, guys, because I've got my Capulator 4000 on and I can't see or judge where chopper is. Should have had my sunglasses on really, that would stop some of the wind. Right, let's try again. Now we've got, okay, off we go. Seems alright, it's responsive, tail's good. Like tiny little wag on the tail, it could be so the expo's good. I can live with the tail. So we're probably sitting at around about 1500 RPM there. You see how the winds are affecting it, where it's going up and down. I can live with that. Tail's nice and responsive, not too shabby. Oh, it's bloody wind. It's cold with it as well, that's what's making me eyes strain. I'm an old fart, don't forget guys, that's why I suffer so much with the wind. That's quite steady that is, apart from a little glitch on the tail there, that's actually quite steady. I don't want to go up any higher on the head speed. That'll be fine. That's actually pretty good. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's bring it in. That's fine. That's dandy. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. That ain't too bad. There's a little bit of a twitch on the tail. We're gonna have to dial that in a bit. That could be the gain. But apart from that, that's pretty cool. Not that much friction on the one-way bearing. In fact, that's pretty damn cool. Okay, let's go back into the workshop and carry on. Alright guys, that flight is going to do it for this video. It was always going to be doing the mechanics, setting up the new system in it and whatnot, and then test flying it. So the video is probably around about 35-40 minutes long now. So that'll be the end of this one for part one. Part two, we're going to be looking at sorting the fuselage out and then basically fitting the mechanics of the fuselage and then flying it once it's all been painted up, looking really nice. So thanks for watching guys. Click the old like, subscribe and notification ding dong, because it really does help me out, and I will see you in the next video. Take care guys.